All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to Sunshine State Broadcasting, SSB. Guess what? We're on live again this evening. The NorthWest Classic is where we're at. Today is a championship Saturday. First, we're going to crown the consolation winners. Reigns versus, no, not Reigns, but Ribault against First Coast. Checking in, Courtney Wallace, and of course, I'm with the strong one, Coach Latroy Strong, now turned commentator. Good evening, my friend.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. Day 2, Consolation Day. This one here is for all the marbles for 4th and 3rd right now for the first one. But we got Jackson versus Reigns next for the championship to see who's the top dog on the north side of Jacksonville.
And I was telling you earlier that I saw on social media where the Reigns faithful, they were like, well, who rules the north side? So, hey,
I tell you what,
it's not football, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, whatever you can do to get yourself up sometimes, right?
Oh yeah. And of course, I mean, you know, they beat Ribault last night. Scrap a win, a win is a win.
No, absolutely. It was one of those games where you just couldn't tell what was going right, what was going wrong, and at the right time, Reigns hit a three-pointer, which put him up, and then Ribault just couldn't catch up from there.
Yeah, Ribault basically capitulated. They just fell apart from the first half. They had a pretty decent first half, but the second half, they just weren't in the game any at all, and of such, here they are today to face First Coast, who, of course, yesterday against Jackson, they had just no answer.
Definitely, and we talked about this before. It's one of them situations where we talked about early in the season where First Coast actually beat Reigns, and then you come back, you Jackson, and they beat Ribault in that really close game that we had as well. So you really couldn't tell where we are with these rivalry games. Everybody's up and they're hyped and ready to go.
Right. Well, here we are today. First Coast, they have a chance against a misfiring Ribault, I might say. They have a chance to, cement a place, and the best they can do right now is win 3rd place.
All right, I tell you what, First Coast has a tall tale to go after this one right here, because I'm quite sure that Ribault had a really, really bad taste in their mouth after last night's loss, so they're going to come out here fired up. Well, and once again, it's about who can match energy, and right now the favor is going to be the running gun and Trojans, but I'm not going to count out the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and of course, it's also who's going to play 48 minutes of basketball.
Definitely, and I tell you what, Ribault does come in short one, but I'm hearing is Ian Buford, they're starting a small forward that's not playing tonight for some type of situation, whatever took place, but he's not playing.
That I would say that would be big on a normal day, but based on what we saw last night, he was misfiring some, so I'm not sure how much they would miss him based on last night's performance, although, that was another game, tonight's another day, so,
Well, it turns out to be an interesting situation, because if he's in some type of slump or whatever, this could be one of those games to get him back going, but if he has some things that's going on that the coach is not agreeing with, this could be one of those strategic discipline type situations.
Indeed. All right, so now we're going to take a break as we honor the flag, the Stars and Stripes, with the playing of the national anthem. All right, with that formality out the way, it's now another version of the Mayhem on Main Street. Of course, the major part of the Mayhem is yet to come. We still got to get through this game first.
I like that. We'll say Mayhem on Main Street right now for this game here.
Yep.
Because when the Tigers come in, they want to say it's the Nightmare on Main Street.
And now we have the introduction of the Ribault players.
All right, they're going to start Simmons in place of Ian Buford.
Of course, Love is a major player for them. They really need for him to have his A game tonight.
Definitely. I'm going to make a little strange prediction. The young man last night, number 21, Javion Wills. I think we're going to see a big dose of him tonight.
I agree. I agree. He was a major factor in last night's game. And should make an impact, should have a serious impact on tonight's game. And there goes Neo again. One that First Coast will be looking forward to lead this team tonight.
Definitely. He's their three-point shooter. He's pretty much their floor general, even though I've kind of been paying attention that JoJo Wilson has been kind of taking on the floor general spot, which is good because it takes some pressure off of Neo to be able to shoot the threes.
Right.
I tell you what, I didn't notice Mr. Wilson, 0 for Ribault starting. So that's 2 starters that are not out there right now.
Right.
Strategic discipline, that's what I would call it.
I like it. I like all these fancy terms that weren't around some years ago, but with everything being so politically correct nowadays.
I tell you what, so I'll define and throw it out there. What happens is when you feel like you're in a game that you can pretty much win, you can discipline on those particular games because it's not going to hurt you too bad.
Right. And of course, I want to say thanks to our sponsors this evening, First Baptist Church of Orange Park. Thanks for always being here. Pastor David Tarkington, thank you, sir. Appreciate you and all that you do for your community.
That's it. Don't forget to like and love and subscribe. Press those buttons.
Yes.
Go to the chat. Give us some little information that we can kind of pass back on as these live casts are going on.
Yeah.
All right, we have Thompson, Hall in the middle for the jump. All right, Ribault controls it. It'll be First Coast ball on the possession. All right, Simmons goes baseline, probes. Dortch kicks it out. Number 10, Love for 3, no good. Zakias Beard controls the rebound, knocked out of bounds by Ribault. All right, Ribault goes into a pad in full court man-to-man defense, which normally would be a run and jump. All right, having trouble getting the ball in bounds, but it gets into Neo. Neo kicks it up to Harris. Harris on the break. Missed the trail man and Russell. All right, Buccaneers look to set up some type of offense. Neo up top, 17 seconds on the shot clock. Bounce pass goes to Harris. Throws up the floater. Air ball, gets his own rebound. Still missed the layup. Control rebound. Ribault. Simmons on the push. He sees the three-point line. Lines it up. Count it. I kind of felt like he was looking at that from when he first touched the ball.
From the very beginning. Yep. Absolutely right.
All right, Harris does the same on the other side.
And
knocks it down.
There's your answer.
That's his shot, too. You know, if he can get in the rhythm, he can knock that down. And if he can make a few along with the ones that Neil's going to make later on, could be huge for First Coast.
Well, I'm not going to get too excited yet. I like when games start like this, but I'm not going to get too excited yet.
That's it. Still 32-minute game, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, up screen up top. Dortch throws it over Hall's head. Turnover, Buccaneer ball. All right, Beard inbounds. Echeverria goes to Russell.
I felt like I said 48 earlier. Must have been thinking about another game.
Could have been, huh?
Yeah.
All right, turnover, but no. Caleb Thompson holds on to it. New shot clock. Corner for Russell, and he pulls, looks to go to the basket. Dumps it in to Caleb Thompson for 2. Much better start for First Coast already.
Yep. But Strong, one of my experiences in sport is that if you want to see the good games, catch the Consolation in the semifinals.
Definitely. See a better matchup. Zion Hall hard and strong to the basket for 2. Tie ball game. I tell you what, though, there's a difference here the Jackson, because the pressure is not as tough that Jackson put on, as well as the height is not there that Jackson had.
Right. Well, I mean, it's always going to be tough playing at Jackson any which way you take it. Definitely.
Harris probes and throws the ball away to McCoy. McCoy looks to go one-on-one and finishes with a finger roll. Ribault takes 2-point lead. Because I keep saying, Russell pulls up, counted for 2. I keep saying that First Coast has 3 of the best guards in the city. They just have to use them, and they have to have those good games every time.
Right. And this could be it. This could very well be it.
That's it. So right now we have Harris score, Caleb scores, as well as Zion with the turnaround. And it's interesting because his name is Zion. It kind of gives you the impression of Zion Williamson.
Yep.
Maybe not as tall.
Not as tall, not as big, but I mean, he's a young man.
Yeah, all right, quick baseline goes to Caleb. Caleb turns it over. McCoy probes. Looks to pass it off to Zion. Nothing there, but he follows it and finishes with 2. All right, Harris lines up 3 again, goes baseline. Subtle push off and gets the roll for 2.
So both teams, showing their intent from early.
Yes, they are.
Yep. And the players seem to have their shooting hands on.
They do. They definitely have a different zeal right here.
Yep.
All right, Simmons pulls the baseline, kicks it out to Love. Nothing doing. Good defense. Neo Echeverria. All right, spin move. Love tosses it to Dortch. Strong move with nothing given. Knocked out of his hands by Russell. First Coast looks to push. Terrible pass by Neo. Looks to go behind his back on a fast break situation. First Coast with a quick sub, and strictly is a disciplined sub because of the bad pass. All right, Russell looks to inbound, gets the ball into Beard, and fouled by Wills. 21 Ribault.
First trip to the line. And we know last night we saw a very bad night in terms of free throw taken. Let's hope tonight will be better.
And it was at this rim too, so let's see if we can change the tide.
Yeah.
We started off with Beard, makes the first one.
Good start.
All right, Beard up for the second one and get it.
2 good-looking free throws to start.
That's it. All right, tie ball game here. Tiger Gym, North Main Street. All right, ball goes over to McCoy. He looks inside Zion for the 12-footer. Hard off the back of the rim. Beard controls it, gets it over to Harris. Harris looks to push. Has his movement. Gets it out to Russell. 24 seconds on the shot clock.
Stolen. And the easy layup.
McCoy with a quick layup.
Yep.
Defense, the offense, very quick.
Ball handling not clean that time from First Coast.
Definitely in their passes seem to be a little off as well. All right, Russell with the pull up. Short. We got an injury. One of Ribault's top guys, McCoy, is down. Teammates go to help him up. Gonna go ahead and lip it on off.
Up on his own power.
Yeah, the referee says, hey, we still had to come on the court, so gotta get a sub in for him. All right, Neo back on the court. Replaces Russell for First Coast. That was a 5-word timeout. No more behind the back passes. All right, ball to the corner. Looks to try to bounce pass into Zion. But foiled by Howard from First Coast. All right, 25 seconds on the shot clock. All right, Harris jumps in the passing lane. Sorry, Howard jumped in the passing lane, but can't control it. All right, First Coast is in a 2-3 jump. Once again. Oh, we got a turnover. Zion Hall, travel. Buccaneer ball, out of bounds. All right, Neo probes to check it out, try to get something called. Takes the ball to the top of the key, half court line. All right, throws up a wild three-pointer, hard off the backboard.
That time it seems as if he just ran out of options, so he just threw something up.
Yeah, not really a smart move, though. Luckily, Ribault didn't capitalize on their three. Rebound by Beard. All right, First Coast at the top. Harris tries to set up the offense. Goes over to Howard. Curl play. Neo not there. He gets it late. Has a shot. Foul. By number 24, Zion Hall. Neo shooting two. Neo has always been a very good free throw shooter. Definitely high 80s, low 90s pretty much for his career. All right, McCoy comes back as well as Thompson for First Coast. All right, Isha again for the free throw. Tie game.
So First Coast looking good from the free throw line. Good sign.
Very good sign.
Because we've always spoken about it, and we can't overemphasize the importance of these made free throws down the stretch.
You win and lose ball games from the free throw line. So, all right, McCoy back in, also attacking. Kicks the corner. All right, Zero's back in. Wilson, no good on the jump shot, controlled by Howard. First Coast on the transition. Pulls up, just inside the three-point line. Rebound, Zion Hall. Zion looks to make something happen. Goes hard to the basket. Nice scoop layup, and he missed. Rimmed out on him. Caleb Thompson with the rebound. Once again, very sloppy passing by the First Coast Buccaneers.
Zion Hall will take a sit.
Yeah, Colton Stafford comes in for him. Very good sub. Colton gets a lot of minutes, so nothing new to him. All right, Howard at top, slips down. All right, Wills looks to be aggressive. Quick pass into Colton Stafford. 4-2. Nice assisted basketball play there.
Yep, straight away he gets into the play and is effective.
Like I tell you, as soon as Wills hit the court last night, you could see something, and he seemed to have a lot of energy. Gave it to the Ribault Trojans once again. All right, Russell looks to go into the basket. Toss up, looks to roll. Counter for two. All right, 30 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock should have been turned off here. All right, Caleb Thompson gets caught up in the air, gets called for the foul. All right, Wills go to the free throw line, shooting two. By the rim, no good. Neo, the three-point shooter. Echeverria comes back in for the last 21 seconds. Replaces Howard. All right, Wills with a much better looking shot there. Count the free throw. 1 point lead, Ribault. 19 seconds on the Game clock. First Coast looks to probe for one shot, just one. With the shot clock, you don't get closely guarded. 7 seconds on the game clock. Russell goes to the basket and gets pushed by Javion Wills. A tiny bit over aggressive there. 3 seconds, 3.4 on the game clock. Well, Ribault looks like they're kind of in that same situation. We're just having a hard time scoring. All right, first miss for Buccaneers. JoJo Rosen. 21, Javion Wills. That's his second foul.
And that pretty much bailed out First Coast because the quarter would have already ended and they would not have scored on the possession. But now they have a chance to score one, and he takes it.
There it is. All right, looks to push McCoy. All right, no good on a long try. And we're going to the end of the first quarter. 16-16.
And about this time, we're going to take a break. And we're going to pay some respects to our sponsor, First Baptist Church of Orange Park.
First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.
Orange Park could be our sponsor here. And remember, hey, if you have a business out there and you want to sponsor, get in touch with us. We'd love to have you on board.
No, absolutely. I guarantee you, Coach Sasser's definitely a lot happier tonight than he was last night. His team seems to be energized. Definitely a lot more activity, and the ball's going through the basket a lot more.
Indeed. Well, 16 points after the first 8 minutes.
All right, Harris up top. Let's go to the basket and gets the roll. Definitely a very good downhill basketball player on his left side. All right, Zion Hall once again kicks it out, ends up in Love's hands. McCoy up top, goes back to Love. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Zion Hall looks to go in tough. Thompson off of his leg. Turnover. All right, First Coast lets it go with the two big look today. We got Thompson in and Jones.
As the gym here on Main Street is filling up. Last night we were full to capacity.
Full to capacity, as it says the announcer. All right, Russell goes hard to the basket. Knocked out of his hands by number 2, Simmons. Ball underneath. 25 seconds on the shot clock. All right, inbound tap by McCoy right there at the line.
Steal.
Athletic play. Once again, looks to probe. Comes down and Simmons set up for the three-pointer. No good. Jones with the rebound. Can't handle it. Zion, tough. Athletic move to the basket.
Good awareness there by Zion.
Once again, First Coast's biggest Achilles here right now is the turnovers. Playing very good basketball outside of errant passes. All right, Harris looks to go back to the basket again. Blocked. Thompson gets it, but fouled from behind by Zion Hall. Those are the fouls that Zion does that drives Coach Showers crazy.
They have to. They have to.
All right, ball almost stolen
McCoy
again. Jones with the head fake and gets the foul. All right, Brandon McCoy with the foul on Mr. Jones from First Coast. He goes to the free throw line. Well, thus far, First Coast is shooting pretty good from the free throw line.
They're going to need them.
All right, gets the roll. Zion Hall with his second foul comes out of the game. Replaced by Colton Stafford. All right, Jones gets them both. Takes a 2-point lead. 6 minutes, 40 seconds, game clock.
And you said it before, but a much better display here from our First Coast. Not like last night when through the first quarter, they only had like about 5 points.
Definitely. Simmons lines up 3 and counted. Nothing but nets. Got a little net music there. Swish. Definitely. Ribault's definitely not giving them the same challenge that Jackson gave him last night.
Yep.
All right, Neo goes to the basket. Gets fouled. All right, number 12, Dortch with the reach in. I'll tell you what, though, First Coast guards seem to get past that first line of defense every time they want to.
Yep.
All right, Ribault is already sitting at 3 team fouls with only a minute and 46 seconds passed. All right, Echeverria gets the bounce.
Gravity being kind to him that time.
Definitely. He's a nice free throw shooter, and he always has a nice soft touch. So, not expecting nothing but those.
Yeah, that one is all net.
All right, this is Ribault's fear. This game stays close. All right, to the corner. Simmons again, hauled off the rim. Dortch, high rebound. Getting smothered inside, and Russell snatches the ball from him. Ball goes up quick. Left side, Harris looks to make a move. Spin move, nothing done. Ribault kicks it out of bounds.
And again, First Coast bailed out there by Ribault.
Yeah, Harris gets a little out of control over there.
Yep. Totally lost the handle.
Yeah, definitely on that spin move. All right, ball goes into Thompson, and he knocks it out of bounds. Can't control the ball. Turnover, First Coast. Ribault's ball. All right, Roger Love probes, pass ball over to Brandon. Corner, Simmons, no pass, goes the door to the free throw line. Comes back in. This time he should look to score. Has a shot, count it.
He does, yep. Patient.
Very patient. All right, First Coast on the move. Transition, Echeverria. Miss Russell on the cut. Harris looks at the post, but decides elsewhere. All right, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Calls for the screen. Russell turns the corner, but tipped by Stafford. Ball goes up quick to Dortch. Looks to make a move. Hard off the back of the rim. No good on the layup. Harris comes down the sideline. Looks to push. No, he wants to finish. And the spin. Dipsy-do. Counting for 2. All right, a top kicked by First Coast.
Wrong sport.
Coach Shaw rolls the dice and sends Wills back in the game with his 2 fouls. All right, ball quickly over to Brandon McCoy. To the corner to Wills. Looks at the 3, but no good. Goes inside. Quick pass over to Dortch. No shot. Brandon McCoy still confused on what he wants to do. Spin move. Ball goes over to Love. No one wants to shoot the ball. McCoy gets there. And 1. They go to the free throw line.
Well, now you have to give them credit for the way they played.
I tell you what, I'll take away the negative, just say good ball movement.
Yep. You know, sometimes you need to do that because, you know, sometimes just going downhill, rushing the basket is a good thing, but other times, you know, you just need to pull it back, slow it down a bit, remain in control.
Well, if that's your game, that's good.
Yep.
As long as you finish on the end and put the ball in the basket, which is what they've done.
Yes, sir.
All right, no good once again for Brandon McCoy. Free throws still are haunting the Ribault Trojans. Echeverria kicks the ball over to Harris for 3. Nothing doing. Goes down the baseline, turns it over. Brandon McCoy with the steal. All right, goes to Roger Love. He goes baseline. Lost the handle, but kicked it over. Block. TJ Styles. Brandon McCoy lines up a three. No good. All right, we had a loose ball foul on Ribault. All right, black number 12. Chase Dortch call. All right, Jaden Howard comes in, replaces Nikias Harris. All right, Howard at top. Probes try to see what he has. 26 seconds on the shot clock. All right, Howard looks to go to the basket, elevates front of the rim, nothing doing. Beard stays on the glass and loses the handle. Out of bounds. All right, Howard is subbed very quickly. Wills as well for Ribault. 11, Daquan Woods in for Ribault. All right, McCoy looks to probe again. Beard cuts him off and gets the foul. Zacchaeus Beard called for the foul. And then he gets the steal. All right, ball's pushed up forward. TJ Styles up. Looks to go in. Dipsy do nothing doing under the rim. Not sure about that shot, but
keep it simple.
Shot it with confidence. All right, Chase Dortch goes, bounce pass into McCoy. Strong move.
And then that.
Strong finish.
And you get punished at the other end.
All right, Echeverria has his hands full up top of Roger Love. Defense. All right, with the shot clock, no 5-second count. Got an interesting screen. TJ Styles has it. And we have a timeout, First Coast. 30-second timeout called by the First Coast Buccaneers coach.
See something that he wants to correct. Want to say something to the players.
Well, I tell you what, he personally is kind of frustrated with Neal right now because he's pounding the ball way too much. People are open and he's not giving the ball to him in a timely manner. So I think he wants to talk about that and maybe even shift to see somebody else with the ball in their hands a little bit more.
All right. But what I must say though is, so far a pretty even game. We haven't seen the cacophony of mistakes we saw from both teams last night. Not as clean as we'd love to see it, but at least, a much better ball game than we saw.
Oh yeah, great statement when you say not as clean, because I know both coaches are pulling their hair right now for the simple, stupid mistakes that are being done on the basketball court right now. Both teams.
Both teams.
All right, First Coast ball, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Echeverria goes inside to Caleb Thompson. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Russell calls the play out. Getting low on the shot clock. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They do not notice. Shot clock violation, First Coast Buccaneers.
Now, that mistake would make me pull my hair out.
Absolutely. Coach Sasser has to be killing himself right now. The fact they call a timeout and then still get a shot clock violation.
Yep.
All right, Brandon McCoy once again looks to attack. Quick bounce pass into Chase. He misses the layup. But Harris knocks it out of bounds. Ball stays with Ribault. 2 minutes, 10 seconds, game clock. Great two-man play, but no finish. All right, Roderick Love has it up top, kills his dribble, kicks it out to Zion Hall. All right, 10-foot range. Roderick Love pulls up and gets the bounce.
That's the roll.
All right, Ribault is creeping up to a 5-point lead right here. First Coast needs to stop the bleeding. All right, quickly to Harris on the baseline. He leans up, doesn't have anything, but Beard is there. Receive the air ball. Number 11 for Ribault with the push from behind. Beard looks to finish up the and one. 3-point play, 3 the hard way.
And this presents a perfect opportunity, like you just mentioned, for them to stay close to the lead that Ribault now enjoys.
This is the big 2 or 3 points here because they definitely need to stay close.
Yep.
All right, Styles comes in for Thompson. Beard rattles out. Rebound by Woods. 1 minute, 33 seconds. Game clock, 27 seconds. McCoy almost turns it over, but Woods is there to help him out. Woods goes to attack, blocked by Styles. Neo Echeverria caught between 3 Ribault players. What will he do? Finally gave it up. Neo has the ball again and throws up a 3-pointer and count it. First Coast ties the game.
And, you know, he came out looking good from it with the 3-pointer, but looked almost lost when he was triple teamed there.
Definitely.
You know, if you have 3 players on you, that it means that there's some players open. Find one.
Well, the interesting thing about it is, you know, you're only lost until you find yourself to somewhere that looks familiar, and that was his range, so it looked familiar.
Right.
All right, ball tipped by Harris. Goes out of bounds. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Ribault ball underneath. All right, Woods is subbed in. Subbed out, that is. All right, corner. Shot, floater, no good. Beard and Styles both fight for it. Kicks it out. Neo on the sideline. 34 seconds on the game clock. 26. Shot clock. Harris lines up the 3. No good. Roderick Love with the rebound. Looks to push. Shot clock is off now. Quick pass into Zion. Can't handle the pass, but he controls it. Gets the floater.
Nice work.
17 seconds on the game clock. First Coast looks to shoot one final shot of the first half. 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Long 3 goes to Russell. He throws back up and nothing doing.
No good.
Empty possession right there for First Coast.
Back to back.
Back to back. And they go in down 2 to the Ribault Trojans. Halftime at the NorthWest Classic. Day 2 Consolation game. We'll see you after the half.
First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.
Ball pushed out to Davis for a three. Count it. Hackworth finishes with the one-handed dunk. There's Hackworth once again, goes to the baseline, and he says, nobody can stop me. Two. I did. I coached him for a little while. Mosley lines up three. Hey, let it rain. Mosley for three. All right, goes into Hackworth. Looks to go to the basket. Nobody can deny him. All right, King kicks the ball out to Mosley for three. Count it. Ball's dropped off to no one but a Tiger. All right, King. Hackworth in the corner. Don't get it to him. Try it this time. Yep, they knew he was going to shoot it. They just didn't know when to give it to him. Trotter still trying to find that three, and does. So, Coach Samuel, definitely, I saw you guys starting to hit their stride. So, what do you think is causing that to happen right now?
Just reps, man. We're getting it in day by day, 1%, each day. We come in and go to work. We're making sure we're working on the things that we're not good at, and we're making sure we strengthen up the things that we are good at. So, it's just every day coming to work.
What I saw today also was a breath of fresh air. My guy Mosley, I saw him become a little more aggressive. Have you been saying anything to him? Because I kind of been watching him defer a little bit, and I want to see him go out there and get it done.
No, most definitely. I told him, what the people have been saying about him not looking like he did last year, him not playing as hard as he did. And when I told him to, he took it personal, and he said it'll never happen again. So, just night in, night out, I'm just looking forward to him coming out here and being who he is.
Tell me a little bit about Donald Hackworth. I just get amazed every time I see the big guy on the court. Tell me a little bit about him, Coach. Tell me what you like about him.
He's a good kid. First and foremost, good kid. Langston he's just one of them kids that you love to have on your team. You know what I mean? You can challenge him. He'll stand up to it. He don't never take anything personal. Just a good kid to coach, man. The three ball's always good. As you see, he's been working on his interior game a little bit, getting more physical. So it's always good to see him show more skill than he had before.
So I tell you what, I definitely can see him playing at the next level. What does he need to make that turn for the next level basketball?
Well, I always tell him his motor. He got to always have his motor turned on, night in and night out. And as far as defending hard, running your lanes hard, rebounding real hard, he just got to keep that motor. And I think if he keep that motor, sky's the limit for him.
Man, I tell you what, I've been definitely privileged to cover you guys, man, and I can see you all going deep in the playoffs, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, though.
Man, we appreciate y'all, every night coming out. Looking forward to y'all being here tomorrow. I always go back and listen to the commentary to see what I can tighten up on when I come sit down with you. So it's been good.
Yes, sir, Coach, but I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck.
Appreciate you all. And by the way, I like Jackson tomorrow.
All right.
First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for sticking and staying with SSB Sunshine State Broadcasting. Thanks to our sponsor, First Baptist Church of Orange Park, Pastor David Tarkington. And of course, if you are a business owner, a parent, if you want to support us, hey, just get in touch with us. We'd love to have you on board. Courtney Wallace here, along with Latroy Strong, bringing you the commentary on this one, the consolation game of the NorthWest Classic. 1.5 is already in the books. We're getting ready for the second half. Strong, what are you looking forward to in this one?
I'll tell you what, I know when both teams went back to the halftime, I know Coach of First Coast was talking to his team about ball control and not turning the ball over as much. I think that's the first thing, because if you look at some of the turnovers that they have, they could be up 5, 6, 7 points by now if they control the ball a little better. And on the other side, I know Coach Showers told his guys, man, we got to put the ball in the basket. That's the biggest thing. We're getting to the basket. We're athletic. We're getting position to make the good shots. They're just not falling for us. So at some point in time, we got to make sure that we either make a bucket or get fouled to go to the free throw line.
Right. And of course, we're getting ready for the big one. Andrew Jackson, the host, playing Reigns.
I tell you what, I polled some of the people in the audience, man. I got some Reigns fans here, so trying to figure out what's going on, so the tides are kind of turned in their home gym, so it's going to be interesting.
Yep, and of course, we did remind you that the Reigns people, they're saying, hey, they run the North, so it'll be a good time to see what happens.
Definitely. So here we go.
But you know what I like about this one, though, Strong? It's close. In boxing, we say styles make matches. I think both teams have similar style. They're pretty much even so far, as the scoreboard suggests. So, hey, we could be in for an exciting one.
Definitely. Keep it close, and let's get the crowd involved and say it's an exciting game. All right, Brandon McCoy goes to the basket. A little out of control there. Controlled by Russell. Russell looks to push. Quick pass in the beard. Comes back to Neo. Neo's has his position shot. Doesn't go well for him. Thompson, quick rebound. Blocked by Hall. Blocked by Dortch. Sorry. Dortch controls the rebound. Blank trip there for First Coast. Ribault looks to make something happen. I love to Dortch. Dortch over to Simmons, and he likes that spot, but doesn't get the shot. Beard fights for the rebound. Looks for a guard to get the ball to, but he can handle it, so he brings it down. Turns the ball right over for no reason, like to try to go to Neo with it, and athletic Brandon McCoy's there and misses the layup, but gets pushed by 0-0 Neo Echeverria.
Well, he went for a pass, a cross-court pass, to the shorter player with a taller player in front of him.
And it was such a soft pass, too. I mean, he really didn't have any kind of power on it at all. And he had a teammate right there in front of him, which makes it even worse.
In front of him, yep. And we're not going to flog a dead horse, but again, that's one of the mistakes that, like you speak of, it makes you pull your hair out.
Definitely. And then we go right back to the other end, and we talk about Ribault's Achilles heel. Missed 2 layups, and then now he misses a free throw. I mean, that's 5 points.
But if I might say this, though, that is exactly why this game is so even.
Correct. Yep. They're consistent at least, right?
Yep.
All right, missed both of them. Rebound cleared by Beard. Gets the ball to Harris. Harris decides he's going to go ahead and bring it up the court. Great matchup at top. Harris versus Love. Love's very good defender. Very tenacious. All right, Russell versus Simmons. Turns the corner. Finds the big guy there. Drop pass to Caleb Thompson. Head fake twice to get the 2. Tie ball game.
And that's exactly what First Coast needs.
I tell you what, Caleb Thompson, man, has been a project for me. He kind of backed up the big guy last year. Learned a lot. Brandon McCoy lines a 3 up, and he gets it. He shot it with confidence. Looked good when it left his hands. But Caleb's one that I figured is just 11th grade as well. He's going to get better and better. All right, ball goes to Russell at 3-point line. Head fake. Looks to go in, kicks it out over to Neo for the 3 in front of the rim. Brandon McCoy clears, kicks it out long to Roderick Love. Looks to be aggressive, going to the basket, nothing doing. Caleb Thompson finds Harris. Harris kicks it out to JoJo Russell. No good on the 3. Harris says, nothing doing. He's just going to throw it up. Hits the front of the rim. All right, rebound ball. Brandon McCoy comes down. Calls for his guard to come up so he can set something. First Coast in the 2-3 zone. Brandon McCoy pulls up at the 12-foot area and cans it. Now that could be scary for First Coast. If he gets going, it could be a long night.
Indeed.
And I tell you what, I do see where Ribault does miss Ian Buford. Downhill basketball player, kind of a hybrid.
Right.
Does a little bit of everything. Harris, head fake. Taylor Thompson knocks it out of bounds. Sub coming in. Both Styles and Howard.
But let me ask you though, if a coach takes out a Buford for the reason I stated before, does it do something to the other players? Let them know, hey, we need to step up or else.
But you know what? With this generation, you have no clue. Just the proof is in the pudding. You'll see what happens. And, you know, in years past, you would say absolutely. It should be like next man up, the guy who's come off the bench. This is my opportunity to shine a little bit. But you never know. This generation, they're different.
Built differently.
All right, Simmons looks to go to the basket, turns the corner, gets fouled by number 3, Russell. All right, 4 minutes, 59 seconds on the game clock. Brandon McCoy has it. Looks to go quickly to Simmons. Great defense by Howard. Takes away the baseline. Love at the three-point line. Sizes up Styles. Feels like he's ready to take it. With a quick crossover. Pulls up. 2.
Good shot.
Much better looking Ribault team right now.
And that's it. You know, you see glimpses of a good team, and you just wonder why not be consistent with that.
That's it. It's about shooters. You know, it's when you get a streak, when things are going well, what happens?
Right.
All right, Beard calls for Russell to get it. He gets it. And it looks to be aggressive, but nothing happened. Blocked by 2 players from Ribault. Dortz and Hall. Love looks to push. Backdoor cut to McCoy, who's blocked by Styles. He's the First Coast shot blocker. Neal looks to go to bounce pass into Howard. Howard finishes left-hand layup. 2. All right, balls. Advance quick to Brandon McCoy. Goes to the basket, muscles up. Double pump and gets fouled by Russell. Russell second.
In quick succession.
At the halfway point of the third quarter, First Coast is up to 3 team fouls already. Ribault 0. All right, Brandon McCoy to the free throw line to shoot 2. Makes the first. Hey, Wilson comes back in for Simmons for the Trojans.
Well, interesting. Last night we saw, you know, the second half of both games being like watered down to almost nothing. Tonight, this game, second half is pretty much consistent with the first.
Definitely, both teams are pretty much playing the same way they were. I know the coaches would like to see it. I see Ribault has cleaned it up a little bit though, more so than First Coast has.
And it tells in the score they're 6 points up.
Yes, and has the momentum at the same time.
Right.
Because First Coast is still trying to figure it out. All right, Beard goes to the basket, left-hand layup, no good. Nice pass from Neal. Hall looks to go up, double pump, left-hand layup. That's his game. First Coast needs a timeout. Talk about it. 3 minutes, 28 seconds on the game clock, third quarter. NorthWest Classic. Game 1, Consolation.
And you're absolutely right. The momentum right now is with Ribault.
All right, we talked about Ian Buford. And what I'm saying about him is this game has become strictly a downhill game, just up and down, up and down, up and down, and that is his game. I think last night he got caught up trying to do some different things because Raines made it uncomfortable for him.
Right.
All right, Ribault comes down into a full court man. And we have a turnover by First Coast. I thought it was a foul, but I guess it wasn't. Called a travel. I think the full court pressure caught him off guard. All right, ball stolen right back. Howard can't control it, but gets the ball left to Neo. Cheveria finds his partner. Russell kicks it out to the three-point line. Great defense by Ribault.
And that there shows homework done.
Yes, they know he wants to shoot 3.
Yep.
They took that away. But he get on the other side. Hard off the back of the rim. Controlled by Zion Hall. He's a ball handler too, so he's going to bring it up. He sees he has a mismatch. Looks to go to the basket and gets fouled by number 10, Zakias Beard.
Gets clattered, actually.
Clobber, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, to knock a big guy like that down, you definitely should. And he got hit pretty hard.
Exactly, but you know he's a tough guy, tough kid also.
Definitely a tough kid.
He will take it.
No doubt. Goes to the free throw line to shoot 2. First Coast once again, 4 team fouls here. All right, gets the roll for that one. Looks to shoot the second one. So every foul from now on, First Coast, double bonus.
And now they're really sinking deeper and deeper into it as the lead is building.
Lead is building. You make this one, it makes it double figures.
There you go.
All right, 10-point lead, Ribault.
And exactly where First Coast didn't want to find themselves.
There it is, full court, man to man.
And then you do something like that.
Well, Coach Showers actually did what most coaches would do. What did Jackson do to win by 40-plus points last night? Oh, full court pressure.
Yep. Make it uncomfortable for them.
Yep, definitely. Which is interesting because last night the pressure is not what hurt First Coast. It hurt because they got out of control and they also were uncomfortable. All right, got a wild shot taken by Zion Hall right there, but contested by Styles. And then Howard turns the ball back over. And this is what happened last night. First Coast got out of control, started trying to move too fast. Good spin move by Zion. Count it. 12-point lead.
And again, like you said, he's probably not having the complete game, but any game from Zion where he's scoring, rebounding, stealing, is going to be a good game.
Here we go. First Coast getting help to Skelter. Long 2-pointer by Neo Echeverria. No good. Styles cleans it up. Throws up a floater. Does not get it. And Beard fights for the rebound. Has a shot blocked by Dortch, but they call a foul.
And the problem for First Coast here is they just don't know where the basket is anymore.
That's it. I mean, I think that Ribault has sped them up to the point where they're still trying to figure it out.
Well, here's the easiest look you can get.
Free throws.
Yep.
Hopefully they capitalize from the first half and continue with some good shooting from the free throw line.
Good looking one.
All right, Wills comes in for Chase Dortch. All right, we got blood. All right, they get a certain amount of time, and if not, they get a sub.
And like we did point out before, the gym here is steadily filling up.
Steadily filling up, yes. I think we might call full to capacity even before game time.
Even before game time.
All right, First Coast decided to go with the sub, and they sent in Devin Deloney to shoot the second shot. Good situation for free throws, hopefully. But he's not a post player, and he's replacing a post player. All right, Deloney helps him bring it back to just a 10-point lead for Ribault. Roger Loves brings it down, sets up his team. First Coast in the 2-3 zone with the jump. Wills gets it at the free throw line, looks to go hard. Zion back to Roderick. He had a turnover, ball thrown baseline, and he's screaming at his teammate, cut baseline, because it was wide open.
All right. Wait, for some reason, I'm not mad at that.
Me neither. And even Coach Showers has said, but you can't throw it if he doesn't go.
Right.
All right, First Coast beats the pressure. Harris gets blocked off at the baseline. Goes back out to Russum. Looks to jump stop. Styles steps back into the three. No good.
And again, can't find the basket.
Rebound by Wilson. Push the ball up the court. Roderick Love gets manhandled by Harris, but he gets free. And Russum on the grab. Double bonus. Shooting 2. Wilson for Ribault.
And just about everything so far in this third quarter spells trouble for First Coast.
Yeah, it seemed to be a lid on the basket. They started off, very well, but then the last 4 minutes or so have not been able to put the ball in the basket whatsoever.
Still have not gotten out of the 30s this third quarter.
Definitely. And it's all set up with Coach Showers making the transition and going into the full court man-to-man. Wilson makes the first. All right, Brandon McCoy to return to the game. 1 minute, 20 seconds on the game clock here in the third quarter. NorthWest Classic, game one.
Ribault versus First Coast.
All right, rims out on the second one. Ball controlled by Styles. All right, Harris has the ball, and Wilson, great job of keeping it out of his strong hand. Goes to Neo. Neo turns the corner. Goes to bounce past the Russell inside. Can't control it. Turnover, First Coast. All right, 58 seconds. Big crossover by Zion. Goes to the basket, gets fouled by Devin Deloney up high.
And we know what that means.
Free throws.
Yep.
All right, 54.7 seconds on the game clock. And to tell you what, I think that Coach Showers just said to his team, hey, guys, attack, attack, attack.
All right.
Good looking shot there.
Man, we said before, Zion Hall looks a different player tonight. Seems to have gotten within himself, and he's just playing some basketball.
Definitely. I would tell you, he's not a back-to-back bad game guy. I mean, he may have one bad one, but the next game comes back and he looks like a basketball player once again.
Yep.
All right, front of the rim, no good. All right, 50 seconds on the game clock. 50 and counting. All right, ball's thrown airy, but it ends up in Devin Deloney's hand. Front of the rim, ball bounces to Wills from Ribault. He looks to push, go all the way. Left hand scoop.
No good.
Rebound, Styles. 30 seconds. 29 on the game clock. Harris goes to a strong hand. No rim roll for him as well. Will snatching it. He's gone. All right, gets the ball over to Wilson. Wilson looks at the clock, sees what he has. 15 seconds on the shot on the game clock. Zion on the baseline, 12 seconds. He sees the mismatch, looks to go to the basket. Gets pushed once again by Devin Deloney.
As we approach the end of this third quarter, if I was First Coast, I'd go to the officials and I'd complain, man.
Complain about?
A different rim.
A different rim. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, that's
just not working out.
That's a new one, I tell you. Haven't heard that one before.
Yeah. It's interesting though. The rim has been there all game long.
All game long.
Hasn't moved, but you still can't find it.
Can't find it. All right, Zion Hall sets up and gets to roll.
He knows where it is.
There he is. All right, 15-point lead now for Ribault High School. 7.9 on the game clock. Let's finish up the third quarter.
And Zion will sit out the rest of this one. Put in a good shift in the third quarter.
Smart move, yes.
Yeah. So they need him down the stretch to close it out.
All right, First Coast having problems getting the ball in bounds. Good hustle. 6 seconds, game clock. Brandon McCoy off the glass. Soft touch. 1 second, but almost stolen again by Wills. First Coast is just totally out of kilter here, and their heads are starting to slump, which is not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
All right, going into the fourth quarter. Ribault 52. First Coast 35. We'll see you in a minute.
All right, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, First Baptist Church of Orange Park.
First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.
All right, back with you here for the fourth quarter of this one. Consolation game. Ribault versus First Coast, and so far it has all been Ribault at least for the third quarter, heading now into the fourth, and they're looking good for the consolation win here tonight, Latroy.
Definitely. Ribault started to set the nails up in the coffin during that third quarter. Really started to pour it on. Went to a full court pressure, gave First Coast a whole lot of problems from there. All right, well, we're back at it though. Fourth quarter.
And you know, the bad thing for First Coast is that they're also too many self-inflicted wounds.
Yes, we talked about the turnovers, but then we talked about the missed layups, and they definitely went to a shooting lull where they couldn't put the ball in the basket. All right, Harris once again hits the ball, pushes the ball out to Russell, sets up for a three, front of the rim. Wills once again gets rebounded. He's on the push. I like this guy. Quick pass into Brandon McCoy for two.
Yep.
And that's the other thing with Ribault in their transition. They are team players with the transition as well.
Yep.
All right, Beard says he's the point guard. He's bringing the ball down the floor. Goes into Russell again. Gives up for the three-pointer. Decides he's going baseline. Gets fouled. Colton Stafford on the block.
You know, last night for the fourth quarter with First Coast against Jackson, we said damage control. That's pretty much where they are tonight.
That's it. You know, they did. They never quit in that game, so they're still going hard now. Beard's tripping on the other side. Got number 14 for Ribault High School. All right, things. They're still running the clock. Not sure why, but nobody noticed it. All right, turnover once again. Handoff by Caleb Thompson to Neo Echeverria could not be handled. Rebound ball. All right, Wilson up top, probes, see what he wants to do. He has Neo and kind of felt like it was a mismatch, but decided elsewhere. Brandon McCoy up top calls for a high pick and roll. Comes off of it, gets to the free throw line. His spot did not fall, but gets his own rebound, head fake, and finishes. We talked about it at the beginning of the third quarter when he came out and scored a quick 5 points that it could be rough on First Coast if McCoy starts going.
Yep.
Turnover, Russell. Once again, McCoy up top. Easy layup in the fast break. Starting to get out of hand now.
You know, and I like how you you're staying technical. You're calling it a turnover. It's more like a giveaway.
It was
it's almost like here, you can have it.
That's it. Cardinal sin. He never jumped the pass.
Yeah.
He jumped and had anyone to pass it to. And just like Ribault had been doing thus far, as soon as they got the ball, they looked up the court, threw it long for an easy layup. All right,
we're looking here at our coach Showers, having a talk to his players. For some reason, I get the feeling it's not so much a strategy talk, it's more a pep talk. Hey, just keep going, because at this point in time, there's not much more that he needs to do.
That's it. You talk about the game plan, which they executed the game plan in the second half to the T. They came out, went under full court pressure, caused problems with First Coast not being able to kind of get settled, understand what was going on with them, caused them to miss a lot of shots, and then turned into a lot of fast breaks points. And at that point in time, obviously that was what they wanted done, and he was kind of reinforcing that during that timeout.
Yep. So now it's basically just keep doing what you're doing and play out the 6 minutes of this game.
And let the clock tick. That's what they want. All right, once again, Ribault was in more of a token pressure that time. First Coast against it. Styles looks to go to the basket, and once again, just turns the ball over. Out of bounds. Ribault ball. First Coast steps out to a full court man. And Wills looks to go. Blocked by Styles. Controlled by Harris. Looks to give it up. Does it not. Goes one-on-one. And misses the layup. But luckily, Russell's there to clean his mistakes up.
And finally, they score a basket. I mean, it's been a while since they've gotten the ball through the net.
Yes, they did. And that one was not pretty at all. All right, strong finish by Wilson. Over Beard. All right, Neo. Moving too fast. Teammate wasn't going with him. Turnover. First Coast. Kind of sound like a broken record here. Turnover. First Coast.
Yeah, well, that was one of them plays that, when you have a team that's on song, when everybody is on the same page, it will look good. Not this First Coast team that we've seen tonight.
Not right there.
That was not the pass.
And the worst part about it was I just wish he had went up for the layup. I felt like he was in there. Nobody really to contest him, but chose to do something different.
Yeah.
All right, First Coast come down to pressure, but Ribault easily beats it. Zion got caught up on the wrong side. Reverse layup miss. Now here's one guy who won't slow down if he doesn't have to. Mr. Howard gets the ball at the beard, swinging over to Russell. Russell pulls up inside the paint. Does not get it. Styles fights for rebound, but can't control. Wills push once again. Looks to go by himself, but there's his teammate, Brandon McCoy, to clean it up.
Second chance points. You need them.
And I tell you what, I like the fact that Brandon actually gave his teammate a high five there just then. Almost sounded like, hey, great miss. You know, helped himself out.
Yes, sir.
All right, First Coast once again falling down. Turn the ball over off the missed shot. Goes to Ribault.
So it would have been one thing if they complained about the rim. Now they need to complain about the ball.
And the ball, the rim,
way too hot for them.
Court, the shot clock, a little bit of everything. All right, here's that young man I've been bragging about all day. Nice pass into Zion, who catches it and gets fouled. By number 10, Zacchaeus Beard.
And I guess, this is one of them games when you get to see a different side of Ribault. It's a game that you're really under no pressure. You're winning the game, so now you can play basketball. You can just play the ball, whatever strategies you want to use, you're at will.
Most definitely. I think, that first quarter, they still were kind of trying to find themselves from the loss yesterday, Ian Buford not being in the game. But then they realized, you know what, we can beat this team. And they just turned it on and never took their foot off the gas. Yep.
And of course, First Coast has not been able to match them.
Definitely have not been able to match them since the middle of the second quarter. All right, Howard gets trapped up. No one's there to help. Beard finally controls it. Goes up top. Russell just errantly throws it. Turnover. Brandon McCoy loses out of bounds. Ball will stay with Ribault. 4 minutes, 24 seconds on the game clock.
And again, First Coast still not able to bring anything under control.
Wow, alley-oop set up for Zion Hall, just a little short, but there's that guy again. Brandon McCoy picks up the loose ball, goes for the reverse layup and gets fouled. Foul 24, Bernard Thomas.
And here we go. A miss. A spectacular miss has woken up the crowd.
I tell you what, man, if he had caught that, I think the whole crowd would have left out and then came back in.
It would have been pandemonium.
Yes, that would have been nasty.
Yep.
All right, McCoy still feeling the heat, and he's making shots. All right, Seth Bain comes in for Bernard.
And again, it's good to see McCoy playing his game and just looking relaxed.
Absolutely. Got two guys that really kind of shine tonight. And definitely McCoy and Zion had a very good opportunity to kind of get themselves rolling.
Yep.
Get back into where they were. All right, McCoy finishes 2. All right, McCoy gets a break. Tells his coach, I don't need a break, but he understands.
And why would he?
Why would he? Yeah. All right, Josiah Russell comes down the sideline, throws the ball into the post area to nobody.
Throws it away. I mean, it's just interesting when these things, it's one thing to see it happen every now and again, but then it plagues the team throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the decision making right now. It's just not happening. All right, got a scrum going on. Wilson comes out with it. Get caught up on the sideline, poked out of bounds by Josiah Russell.
And I like the way you call it a scrum.
Yeah.
Sounds more like rugby.
Yes, a few times seem to have happened that. All right, 3 minutes, 53 seconds. Ball control up top by Love. Zion sees a mismatch and takes advantage of it, but he misses the layup. All right, Jaden Howard comes out with the ball. Trying to take on the whole Ribault staff. And he gets the foul.
I tell you something. Expect something spectacular from Zion.
If he stays in, I think Coach may sub him out. Time to get his stars on the bench. Yeah. And I think that's what the one-on-one was for. Exactly, to let him know this is your last opportunity.
So there'll be no spectacular. You missed it.
That's it. now you rest.
Yep. Snooze, you lose.
All right. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the game clock. All right. Neal calls for a high screen. Seth Bain. Nothing doing. Great defense. And then drops it down. No one's there. Out of bounds. Turnover.
Yeah, I think they've lost the mental part of the game.
Definitely. It has left the building, and now they're just trying to get the time to keep ticking. All right, Wilson goes in, kicks it out to Love. Love surveys. He has a big guy inside, but he wants to make something happen himself. Has the opportunity, gets it back to Woods. Woods throws up a three-pointer. Devin Deloney finds it, corrals it in. Jaden Howard, nice crossover move.
You know what? He didn't want that rebound. He did not want that ball coming to him.
But I tell you what, Coach Showers is about to pull off of this full court pressure because these guys are just fouling for no reason. Mm-hmm. All right, gets another one of his starters who didn't start today out of the game. Got all reserves in right now. But you got the lead to do it. 2 minutes, 47 seconds on the game clock.
And a massive lead to boot.
Massive lead, yes. All right. Goes to that guy, Wills again. He kicks it over to his teammate. Woods finishes on the layup. We talk about that transition teamwork there. I love it. All right, Jaden Howard just throws the ball, but Deloney is able to corral it. Up top is Neo. He got 3 black jerseys around him. All right, for whatever reason, he tried to do a look-away pass. Nothing doing. Stolen by Ribault. And they're pushing. Kick the ball out to Woods. Lines up to 3. Hard off the rim. This time he's going to go. He pushes over to Woods. Woods lines the 3s up. Hard off the rim. Colton Stafford with a strong rebound. And finish for 2. All right, Neil Chevrolet goes to the basket with a layup.
Is there a reason why he hasn't been doing that all game long?
He keeps trying to dish the ball off for whatever reason. You know, he's been there. It's
some
been
strange
there.
Dishes, you know.
Yes.
I don't even know where he gets to cook those.
And it's been there. All right, no. Aaron 3 again. Colton Stafford's down there fighting with Seth Bain. And guess what? It ends up in Woods' hands again for the offensive rebound putback. All right, Devin Deloney for a long 3. Soft but no good. All right, so the 4 first go, 3 ball runs. Coach Stafford can't handle it. Gets the ball to Neo. He's a minute and 7 seconds on the clock. And Neo runs out, but goaltending called up on the rim. All right, 1 minute, 4 seconds remaining in this game. Ribault ball coming down. Showers call for a certain number. Looks like you want to get him some points, get him in the books. All right, comes back to Woods. Woods sees an opening, goes past, jumps into Seth Bain, no call, but it's cleaned up there. Colton Stafford. All right, ball almost stolen up underneath the basket. Jaden Howard does figure out a way to get out of it, but turns it over. All right, Wills with the left hand finish. He's been looking to do that all game long. All right, timeout called by Ribault High School, 30 seconds. Savion Wills gets the dunk, and I tell you what, we needed that in this atmosphere right now to get everything hyped up, to get set up for the championship game. Yes, Reigns,
and you know what?
Jackson.
The crowd has been waiting for something.
The crowd has definitely been waiting. They've been sitting down with their hands underneath their legs, and they just looking for something to cheer about.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of sad that your team is winning, but you're not overly excited because, you know, it has become so pedestrian and so easy.
Well, the reality of your plan for third place right now kicks in.
Yeah.
Because if you have this kind of intensity and this kind of basketball on last night, you're now playing for a championship.
Exactly.
All right, 24 seconds on the game clock. 24 seconds. All right, Ribault just sits back and asked for First Coast to just not shoot the ball anymore. E. Chevalier gets it to Devin Deloney. Devin Deloney almost turns the ball over, but Howard says he's just going to keep it in his hand this time. Comes back to Neo. 6 seconds on the clock. Hits the long three.
Is that his first since the first quarter?
Yes. A little too late, but it's in. All right, final score, First Coast 42, Ribault 76. Consolation game goes to Ribault High School, which is a good win for them, but kind of a hollow victory.
Indeed. Like you just said, for what happened last night, and you see a game like this tonight, you say, well, where were you last night?
Definitely. They really feel like they should have been playing for the championship game.
Yep. And it hurts. Forgive me for going back again, but it hurts if you look at the game they played with Jackson 2 weeks ago. This hurts even more if I was a Ribault fan.
Well, the interesting part about that, and I do want to go back to that Jackson game where they played very closely. Ian Buford did not play a lot in that game. I'm not sure was he hurt or what was going on. And him not being here tonight, I did see a different type of Ribault.
Indeed. Well, this one is in the books. I don't know, Strong, how much more we can say about this one. One team just really did not show up for the game in the second half, just totally disappeared. And, that's what we have. A 76-42 game.
Definitely. I really feel like First Coast deficiencies are starting to show up, especially against more athletic teams, and that's what happened these last 2 nights.
And in a rivalry game, I mean, this hurts even more, right?
Rivalry game, yeah, just couldn't get up for it.
All right. Well, that's it for this one. I want to say thanks again to First Baptist Church of Orange Park for sponsoring. We're going to cut this one and get ready for the big one. Andrew Jackson versus Reigns, the championship finale, coming up right after this.
First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.